Let's see if we made it. Last week it was a little bit sketchy. It told us that we were not live, and that gave me a little bit of a mini heart attack. So right now I'm dropping a post trying to get a bunch of people in here so we can make it happen. All your questions answered in one place every single week. You know how we do. Nothing but rock and roll. So if you got questions, get in here early. Make sure we knock them out. If you do have some questions, put 3 question marks right in the beginning. Help me out because the chat's going to be popping. And I want to make sure that we get everybody covered. First one in the chat, Killishaw. We are live. Nick Foles, former NFL coach, in the chat. And Juanita, number 3. So here we go. We got the first 3, gold, silver, and bronze. If you guys have questions, I got answers. Put them into the chat. Put a couple question marks before. Where is everybody from? Who is the furthest away? I am coming live from sunny South Florida. I've been doing eBay for over 15 years. For 15 of those years, I was the #1 seller in all of my categories. Pre-owned men's clothing, did a couple $1 million a year. And I am a true believer of having the most knowledge and giving yourself the most amount of opportunities. So that is what we are here to do. And that is what we do. So if you guys enjoy it, press the thumbs up. We do have a record to beat. We have a couple records to beat. The record for most amount of likes ever on a stream is 850. There's going to be 3,000 people that come in here within the next hour or so. We can beat 850. Hit the thumbs up button. I just hit it myself to give us a head start. The most amount of people that we have ever had in here in one time is 753. So the 850 likes is an easy win. We can beat that every single time. We just beat Eric. Eric is late today. Usually he's right on time. He's 8:02. He's 2 minutes late. Let's see how the store did with my main man, Eric. Store did lovely. Beautiful job. So we need 850 likes. That's what we need right now. We need 850 likes. If you guys got questions, I got answers. Any single question you guys need help with, that is what I am here to do. First question, Lost World Video Games. Is this the Trash to Cash podcast? It is not. The Trash to Cash podcast is the Trash to Cash podcast, and I was fortunate and lucky enough to be invited on by ADH Dave, and also Carrie invited me, and also Kevin, Commonwealth Picker. So that is a great podcast. When I come onto this podcast, I am more serious, more stern, because I'm on here performing a duty. I have an obligation. I'm on here performing a job. So a lot of what you guys see is just me performing a job. However, when this computer screen goes off, best believe I have a different side of me. So a little bit of the not so serious eBay guy, I was allowed, to do that on that podcast, because that podcast is the opposite of anything you see on this channel. Their podcast is the opposite. What you see here, complete flip side of the coin. It is the opposite. I did have a great time on it. If you did watch it, drop a comment for those guys. Trash to Cash podcast with ADH Dave, Carrie, American Arbitrage, and then Kevin, Commonwealth Picker. I had a good time talking to them. All good dudes. And we also had Art on there, Mexican Arbitrage. So it was fun. A lot of jokes. I would say it was reseller adjacent. It's not a lot of reseller chat, but it's a lot of funny chat around the world of reselling. So I did have fun with that. So the title for today's is eBay resellers' biggest myths, mysteries, and secrets. Everyone, we have over 100 people in the chat already. Give us what your biggest myth, mystery, or secret is regarding reselling. I want to hear all the conspiracy theories. And since we're shouting out other podcasts, everybody check out the Business and Banter podcast with Henley and Samantha. They've been on the podcast a couple of times each. They just started a new one, and they also had a conspiracy theory podcast this week. So totally unrelated, but give me your biggest myth about reselling, your biggest mystery about reselling, and then your biggest secret about reselling. Load up the chat with those. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's answer a lot of questions. Let's make sure to make this entertaining and educational. So if you have a myth, mystery, or a secret, I want to hear it. What say you? Juanita says, can you explain SAL, Shop Airlines, and is there anything I need to do different with an order from them? So Shop Airlines is a freight forwarder. They have a humongous amount of feedback. If you sell something to shop airlines within 1 second, you got sniped. That is a good measure if you got sniped or not. They have a couple different usernames. One of them is far distant, and one of them is near familiar. But in my experience, I've shipped to them hundreds of times. I have never had one single issue. Now, if you do Google them, they have a bunch of people who claim that they're scammers, they're this and that. I have never, ever, ever had an issue sending out anything to Shop Airlines, SAL, near familiar, far distant. I have never had any kind of issue shipping to any of those. I haven't had too many issues shipping to any freight forwarders in general. And most freight forwarders are located in Doral, Florida, Doral. That's a lot of freight forwarders to the Caribbean, South America. There are some freight forwarders in Sarasota, Florida. They also have freight forwarders in Dover, Delaware, Springfield Gardens, New York, and then they have freight forwarders up in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. So usually the freight forwarders are located in states that have no sales tax. So Doral, Florida, Sarasota, Florida, Dover, Delaware, Springfield Gardens, New York, Portland, Oregon, or another Oregon address is where most of your freight forwarders are going to come from. It's going to be a name, it's going to be a suite number, STE, and a long number, or it's just going to be a random number. And that's kind of like their mailbox within the freight forwarder. And what freight forwarders do is they allow people who live in other countries, or maybe this country, I don't know. But what they do is they allow people to accept a lot of packages. They will repackage all of your package into one package, and then they will forward it over to your country. So let's say you buy on eBay regularly and you have 15 packages a month. Instead of paying 15 different postages to your country, they'll put it all into one box, and then you pay one postage to your customer or to your country. Now, if we know our seller protections, and I know Juanita does because she was on the December 12th call, 12/12 of the morning call. That morning call is titled Seller Protections. And inside of your seller protections, it is very clear as day, black and white. They tell you that if a customer uses a freight forwarder, they lose buyer protection. Why do they lose buyer protection? Because you are obligated to get the item to the freight forwarder's address in one piece, arrive undamaged, just as you shipped it, just as you advertised it. If it gets broken from Oregon to China, from Doral to Brazil, that's not your problem. So all we have to do is get the item to the freight forwarder. Once it leaves the freight forwarder and it breaks, it gets lost, we never see it again. It's not our responsibility. In eBay's eyes, the buyer loses all buyer protection once they use a freight forwarder. Once it's received at the freight forwarder, you can wash your hands of it and you're good to go. So it's the same kind of thing when we use the eBay International Shipping Program, which used to be branded as eBay Global Shipping. Once we get it to that shipping center, whether it's in Erlanger, Kentucky, Cincinnati, I know they've opened up new ones on the West Coast. Once we get it to that consolidation shipping center, once it leaves there, we're off the hook. And if it breaks, gets lost in customs, never arrives, is damaged, the buyer wants to return it, eBay's on the hook for that. We wash our hands as soon as we get it to the freight forwarder, which in that case is eBay at one of their global shipping centers. So Shop Airlines, in my experience, I have never had an issue with them. If you have had an issue with Shop Airlines, a legitimate issue, don't go out slandering good people who do good business. If you have had a legitimate issue, post it in the chat. I would love to hear it, but I've never had an issue with those as well. Steve Chavez says, press the thumbs up or you get a zero. That's harsh right there. So like he said, press the thumbs up. We're trying to beat 850 thumbs up. There's going to be 2,000, 3,000 people that roll through here. That is an easy win right there. Should I start a new store and start listing my 800 plus items at 25 a day? Why do you need to start a new store? That is the first question. Shannon says, how do you handle in-laws hate and reselling? You have to show them results. You have to show them success. You have to show them that the time that you're putting in, there is a monetary reward for that time. If you are putting in 8 hours in a day and you do not have 8 hours of result, whether it's productivity or money coming back, then it's very hard for anyone to take it seriously or anyone to not be hating on what you're doing. So if you are putting in 8 hours, you need to have 8 hours of results. Hey, I worked 8 hours today on my reselling business. I did 25 listings. Not I worked 8 hours on my reselling business and I have one listing. It's very hard for people to take that seriously, and it's very easy for people to hate on that. So we definitely have to make sure that if we are putting time, dedicating time to that, that's outside of maybe spending it with our family, spending it with our friends, maybe missing a picnic, maybe missing a family gathering. Hey, I have a mission. I'm over here. I put in 8 hours. I got 8 hours of result, and this was my payoff. Once the payoff starts coming and the bank account starts filling up and the money starts appearing, people start hating a little bit less. Unless everybody wants you to do better until you do better than them. And then that's a different kind of hating, and that's a different situation. So if you have people hating on you because you are doing better than them, then you just have to come to the conclusion, the realization that, not everybody is meant to go to the top. And sometimes, you need to separate yourself from people that are hating you for doing better, being better, becoming, better than them. Because a lot of that hatred that they protrude out is self-reflected on what's inside. So I've never been hated on one person that is more successful than me, because people that are more successful than me know how hard it took to get to the level that I'm at. I've only experienced haters from lower levels because they have no idea the amount of work, the amount of sacrifice, the amount of discipline, the amount of tenacity that it takes to get to the level. So if you're at a certain level, people that went through that experience, took that ride, walked in those shoes, you have their respect. But if people don't know exactly what's going on, and you start to get a little bit of taste of success, that is a different form of hate and a different form of envy. And in that instance, you just tell them keep hating, and you just keep showing them results. That's all. We got people from Michigan tuning in, Denver, Texas, chat jumps, Austin, R33. That's Robert. Robert is in the chat. Very good. How about that shirt from Sally? So the shirt from Sally, she found a vintage Snoop Dogg rap tee / movie tee. It's from the movie Bones, the long sleeve shirt. It's from 2001. As soon as she showed it, you guys knew. I already knew everything about it. I knew the price. I knew what it was, where it was from, whatever. I had that shirt once upon a time. I remember I bought it at a booth that was right next to where they sell the hot dogs, in a booth that sells primarily workwear and jeans. And the only reason why I was in that booth is because it was a long sleeve shirt. I bought it for $3, and I traded it to my friend Howie Do, and it was a good trade both ways. He gave me some good stuff, and that's one of his favorite shirts. So win-win for everybody. But that's a very good shirt. Absolutely, probably worth $600, $700, $800. How do you deal with flea market vendors that know what they've got, charge a price that is too high? Do you recommend just keep it trucking with no emotion, or do you try to build a rapport? I keep it trucking. If they want to get it too high of a price where it's not an item for me, then I just keep it trucking, because there's many more items that are for me. And you know what? If they want to sell it on eBay, or they want to try to get a better price, then as Juanita, who we just answered her question a moment ago, you just have to say, bless their heart. Just bless your heart and go ahead and try to go get that money. And when you don't, you can come back, and we'll have a chat after that. Bolos for embroidered items that are unassuming. I don't know. You have to provide a little bit more context for that one, Mr. Loot Seeker. Nick Foles said the last 20 seconds of the Trash to Cash podcast had them laughing. Yeah, that was a good episode. All right, so red door, blue door is one of the biggest myths, mysteries, and secrets. That is a big one. I heard people say that tech is more than a man, but that is definitely not true. Myth, Amazon is the only way to win in the book game, from Sean. Can you be successful reselling books on eBay? Sean, define success. We all know our good friend Mel back from Burnout. She's doing a fantastic job on eBay. She's building a beautiful business. Her business is up tremendously over last year. She posted her numbers in the group. I'm proud, very, very proud of everything that she's been able to accomplish. But in the chat, can you build a media business on eBay? That is a good question. I know a lot of media sellers that have started on eBay, jumped ship for Amazon. There are a couple that still do pretty good on eBay. One of them, the guy Mike, he lives close by me. He's a friend of Mel, friend of Johnny B. He sells like the antiquarian books, the rare books, and he does pretty good on eBay. Those are not, as much Amazonable as they are eBayable, but That's a good question. Definitely good question. Um, Aiden says they don't have a question because I know the answer is be disciplined and know my numbers to get the knowledge. Very good. We could just end the chat right now. End the chat right now because that's most of the answers to most of the questions. Listing 5 a day on eBay attracts the algorithm the most. Myth. Is there a number? No, if you list quality items, you could list 5, you could list 50, you could list 500. So long as they're quality items, they will find a way home. They will find a way to get sold. But if you list 50 items, and they're all garbage, then it doesn't matter. If you list 5 items and they're all garbage, then it doesn't matter. We don't get credit. We don't get points for listing garbage. You can list as much garbage that nobody wants in an improper manner, and you get zero credit from the eBay machine from that one. So the myth is listing consistently every single day is like the ticket to buying a Bugatti. But you can list consistently every single day a bunch of garbage, and you will just have a store full of garbage. That's all. Has to be good items that people actually want listed in the proper way so that people can actually find them. Aiden West with a myth. Corningware does not sell. In the chat, what is your experience with Corningware? And today on the show and tell in the group, we do show and tell every single Wednesday, which is like a bolo call. We had Lee from the UK. He showed a Pyrex gooseberry, not gooseberry. He was very clear to correct me 2 times. Pyrex gooseberry dish set that he has sold before for up to $1,000. So Corningware, does Corningware sell? Aiden West. Roland Cole says, finally made the first live. We appreciate you, but when you make the live, we got to hit the thumbs up. We're trying to beat a record here. 850 likes. We're trying to beat that record. Drop shipping from Amazon to eBay. I would give that one a no. When you list clothing, are you normally selling similar from a good comp or selling similar from your own sold or template? Trying to save some seconds. I sell similar from my own items. That's it. Molly Davis says Shop Airlines has purchased so many things from them. Never had an issue. Me either. Oh geez, chat jumps. Wife said house was cluttered, but friends came over and said I was super organized. How to stop the hate, and she kept pulling the best stuff for herself. Oh, does that fit me? That's how it goes sometimes. How do you get your family to support you when they don't seem to understand? Like we talked about on the first one, I think it's all about results. It's about like physical, mechanical results every single day. I worked X hours, I have X hours of results. It's not I worked X hours and I have no results or very little results. That's the first bridge that you have to get over. If you can show, hey, I put in this time and I did all of this, after that, the money follows. And if you can continue to do all of this with the time and the money follows, then you're good to go every single direction. Mr. S says, I like how you respect everyone at the flea market, even the food sellers. You got to give everybody respect, man. Your thoughts, is it possible to make a full-time income selling postcards and ephemera? Absolutely, it is. We have our good friend Carl in the group. He's been selling or reselling in some way, shape, or form for over 40 years, primarily doing postcards and ephemera. That guy is a humongous wealth of information. He does his antiques and collectibles call tomorrow night, Thursday at 8 p.m. And a lot of those chats, a lot of those calls do rotate around postcards, paper goods, and ephemera. You can absolutely make a full-time income selling that. Most times, though, as we know, postcards, ephemera, they have a lower average sale price. They have a longer sell-through. So we're going to need to have a much larger inventory more often than not. But also the good news is, if you have 1,000 postcards, they can probably fit, in a box this big. So, you could carry a 10,000 postcard store on a bookshelf. So you're going to need, a little bit of a larger inventory. You're going to need a little bit of a longer sell through, but also your buy cost is next to free, like a penny and a half each, maybe even less than a penny per item. So there are some pros, there are some cons. It's going to be probably a long haul to get it up to, a level where, you're making pretty good money to sustain a full-time income, but that's okay. We all got the time. But you can also bust out a tremendous amount of listings every single day. If you were doing postcards, a couple photos front and back, throw up a listing. I mean, you're talking minutes per listing, and you could bust out, 50, 100 per day if you were absolutely disciplined and steadfast and consistent doing it. So I absolutely do believe that you can make a full-time income selling postcards. Absolutely. TC says, sending love from New England. Just saw you on the Trash to Cash podcast. Too funny. Yeah. Had fun. I know an all ball player when I see him. Saw you throwing the thrifts. Oh, saw you throwing the football with Arwen. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Um, what position did you play? So I play a lot of shortstop, a lot of center field. I was very fast. So I play a lot of shortstop, second base, center field. Yeah, it was good. It was good hanging out with Arwen, showing everything that was American. And if you didn't watch the conclusion of that, I released that one last Monday. It shows us in Georgia under the rain in a cornfield, and it was, tumultuous rain down where I live. We had a 1 in 500 year storm. The airport was closed. I-95 was closed. I knew that we would be finished for flea markets for the entire week. So Arwen, me, my wife, we went up to North Florida, and then after that we went into Georgia, and we hit some flea markets in Georgia, and I'm proud and happy to report that we crushed it. Arwen crushed it. He had a great time. But yeah, we were throwing the football. We were playing some soccer. I never played soccer before, so we were kicking the ball around. Arwen, as a punter, if that dude came over and trained to be a punter, he might have a chance. That dude booted the hell out of the football on his very first try, probably at least 50 yards with like a massive amount of hang time. Never touched a football in his life. So it was fun hanging out with him. Absolutely. Um, does manga count as books? Yeah, why not? Um, where are we? Where are we? All right, so guys, give me your biggest reseller myths, your biggest reseller mysteries, and your biggest reseller secrets. We all know red door, blue door. Give us some myths, mysteries, and secrets. This is the only time we're allowed to put on our tinfoil hat and do some conspiracy theories. Please. Myth or fact? Does eBay have a magic switch that turns my store on and off? That's from Sarah. Sarah, what do you guys think? Does eBay have a magic switch that turns your store on and off? If you believe so, state your case, put your evidence in. Does eBay have a magic switch that turns your store on and off? Can you set a coupon only for items over a certain price? Absolutely, you can. So Annette, inside of the group under the Tech Tuesday section, most requested calls, I have a full tutorial on coupons. And when you start the coupon, you press the drop-down box. It has a bunch of options in there. One of the options should get you exactly what you're looking for. Steve says, myth, declining offers hurt your traffic. That's a good one. I believe in that myth, Mr. Steve. I believe that declining offers hurt your traffic. Of course, there is no empirical data about that, but I believe that declining offers hurt your traffic, because if I was eBay and somebody sent an offer, would I want you to decline it and turn the buyer away? Or would I want you to at least send a counter offer and play ball? And if I was eBay, I would not want us as sellers to turn the buyer away. However, that's pure speculation and just believing in a myth. But in the chat, myth, declining offers hurt your traffic. What say you? Dance says they're here, slight delay, but they hit the like button. We appreciate that. How many likes do we got in the chat? How many likes do we got in the chat? We got to get up to 850, please. Loot Seeker with the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. Not necessary, but I do appreciate it. I'm just here hanging out, having fun, enjoying helping all you guys, answering questions. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. William says they hopped on the computer, hit the like button. Very good. Thoughts on selling for others? I keep having people wanting me to sell for them and split. So that's kind of a consignment model, I guess an informal consignment model if you're just going to sell for people and do a split. You could do a consignment model if you wish. There are a lot of people that are very successful with a consignment model. However, there are a lot of pitfalls with consignment models that not everybody realizes or understands, especially people doing it for the first time, especially people doing it from the beginning. So we all know how consignment goes when it works tremendous, works out great. When it doesn't work out so great is when the expectation is not set between you and the consignee. So a lot of people think, the layman's, the civilians, that if you put an item up on eBay, it's going to sell immediately. You're going to put it up, bang, they're going to get their money. So you have to set the expectation that, hey, when you list item up on eBay, it could take a very long time for that item to sell. It all depends on what type of item you're putting up, how good the listing is, the velocity of it, the sell through, the price that you want to start it at, yada, yada, yada. So we need to set that expectation first and foremost. We need to also set an expectation of how long we're going to allow this item to sit on the website before we make a change, before we pull it, before we take it behind the barn, whatever we're going to do. We're not just going to list items indefinitely and then just live like that. We're not. So we have to set some sort of expectation on how long this item should sell, how much you're going to sell it for, what kind of offers you're willing to accept. Because if you receive an offer, what do you got to do? Text the person and say, hey, I received an offer for, $16 less. You take it, you tell them, they get mad. So we need to have an expectation of like, hey, if someone sends an offer for X% off, I take it, you need to be happy with that, or vice versa, one or the other. But I think that the biggest thing that people fall into the trap of is the payouts. So the payouts, it needs to be in black and white. It needs to be concrete that I get paid, you get paid on this day. So if you get paid and you say, okay, I'm going to pay you out 2 weeks later, and you have 30-day returns, and the customer returns at 30 days later, and you've already paid it out, now you're the one stuck holding the bag. You don't have the money, and you potentially can get an item back that is broken. That is another thing that needs to be addressed. How do you guys deal with a broken item? How do you guys deal with a buyer misusing returns and sending back a broken item? How does that get dealt with between you and the consignee? So let's say you say, okay, no problem. I have 30-day returns. I will pay you out on the 31st day. No problem. We sign the contract, good to go. You should have a contract if you are going to do consignment. So you say, okay, no problem. I'm going to pay you out on the 31st day after the sale. Excellent. Well, it's not the 31st day after the sale. It's the 31st day after the item has been received. So you still run a little bit of a risk. No problem. I'm going to pay you out 45 days after the item has been received. Excellent. You think you have everything covered, all bases covered? Great. Buyers can open up a credit card chargeback anytime within 180 days of the transaction. 180 days is 6 months. We've all been there. If you've been on eBay for a little bit of time, you will get the random chargeback under the reason saying doesn't recognize the transaction. And that somebody went into their credit card statement, doesn't recognize an eBay transaction because it's actually going to say your username. It's going to say eBay Tech and Sports, blah, 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 $49.99. I'm going to dispute this charge. So long as we can provide a validated tracking number that confirms and shows delivery, we will win that chargeback every single time. However, if they open up an item not as described chargeback on month 5, day 26, they are within their right to do that per the guidelines on eBay. A buyer can open up a credit card chargeback anytime within 180 days of the purchase. So here you are, you've sold this $350 item, you covered all your bases, you paid out on day 45, and now month 5, day 26, someone opens up an item not as described credit card chargeback, and you may potentially lose that case, lose the item, you've already paid the money, and now you're up the creek. So I do know people that do very well with consignment. However, every single thing is documented. There is no handshake agreement. There is no understanding. It is formal. It is a business. And if I personally was doing consignment, if I personally was doing a split, I would have everything in black and white with a signature attached to make sure that everyone is on the up and up and everyone is on the same page. If they don't want to sign it, that's probably not somebody I want to do business with. So for me personally, I would try to buy the item outright or buy the items outright. That way I can sell them on my own terms, dictate my own terms, and do whatever I want to do with those items rather than dealing with somebody else that has a bunch of other stuff going on or different expectations. Tone Morris says, does not answering questions regarding a listing in a timely fashion hurt you and your store? It doesn't happen often, but when the listing has the info, not answering these, what's your take? Again, this is going to be speculation. eBay has not released any sort of communication that says that answering questions quickly helps your standing in one way or another. However, in about the last 6 months or so, if you go to your store page, it will say that this seller responds to messages within 24 hours. So if you do respond quickly, eBay will tell the customer. In my personal opinion, again, if I was eBay.com and I'm impartial, I would prefer to give traffic, get sales, give impressions, give views to buyers that do respond quickly, because of it, to sellers that do respond quickly. Because if a buyer sends you a message and it takes you 4 days to respond, that's a bad experience to the buyer. I'm just going to go to Amazon. I'm just going to go to Best Buy. I'm just going to go to Walmart. So sellers that do respond quickly, I can say this, sellers that do respond quickly, net sell more items than sellers that do not respond quickly. Because there's a lot of times where you answer a simple question real quick and that buyer comes and purchases the items. There's not a lot of times where you don't answer a question at all and that seller and that buyer just comes and buys the item. So if you want to sell more items, answering more questions will sell more items from you. Does it hurt your store? eBay has never received communication regarding that. If I had to guess and speculate, I would say that eBay does prefer you to be active in the messaging and try to respond as quickly as possible. That's also why that they have that badge on your eBay store. But I only speak fact here, and if I am speculating or giving my opinion, I will say I am speculating or giving my opinion. Bylon says that they love the jewelry call today. Very good. Carrie does a very nice job. Mystery. How is it items in the same storage group, I have a storage number in the listing, will sell on the same day, different items, different buyers? That's a good one. So some of that could be, if you are consistent, your items will always get that newly listed bump, and they will always get a little bit of a bump on ending soonest. So let's say you have items that have a 30-day cycle, good till canceled. And let's say today you have a group of 10 items that are ending soonest. They're going to automatically renew, but they're ending soonest. You do get a little bit of a bump on the ending soonest listing. So that could be why you see that. And I did see that as well. So when I had my rack system that was sorted by category, color, and date, I would notice that, hey, I'm pulling a lot of items that were listed on the 15th of some kind of month. And what those were that ending listing bump before your item was renewed. Naruto Ghost said they just came to hit the like button. We appreciate you. The website you gave me for shirt authentication was great, easy to use, very good. Chat jumped, unbelievable. All right, let me. All right, very good. I'm back in action. Pam says you cross list to be successful. That is a myth. She says, myth, you cross list to be successful. What is everyone's thoughts on cross posting? Do you guys find success? Do you guys find it a little bit of a hassle or a headache? Do you guys find it tedious? I have never cross listed or cross posted before. So I can't offer any sort of guidance or opinion or help. I have literally never cross posted before, but Pam with the myth, you cross list to be successful. That is her myth. Why is it so important to post the same amount of listings every single day? I think that it keeps your traffic steady. It keeps your impressions steady. It keeps your views steady. I think that if you didn't have a goal, then you're going to wake up today and how many items do you need to buy? Like, I'm just going to buy 500 today, like, or and tomorrow you buy 600. Or if you don't have a goal, what do? You wake up and buy no items because you have no goal. You wake up and buy 2 items because you have no goal. Maybe tomorrow you'll have 15, and then the next day you'll have 50. And odds are you probably end up having a death pile. So I think that the listing goal helps with consistency, helps make sure that you also have a sourcing budget. Because if you have a listing budget, then you also have a sourcing budget, or a listing goal, then you have a sourcing goal. So if I need to list 10 items today, I need to go out and buy 10 items. And after I'm done buying those 10, I need to go home and I need to get to work and I need to list them. So if you want your traffic to be more steady, more flat, the consistent listing does help you with that. And if you want to set any kind of budget regarding sourcing, having a listing goal will also help with that as well. Mama Hype says, surprised to see you on Trash to Cash podcast. Not my genre, but quick clicks because I saw that was a fun podcast. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who checked it out. If you guys do check it out, drop them a comment. It was fun time, fun podcast. It's reseller adjacent. Gerson says, Little Havana in the house. Que paso? That's right down the street. So you might get the prize for the closest person on the chat. So who is the furthest away? I saw a couple of people from Australia. Who's the closest? Loot Seeker says the Dallas Cowboys have a soccer kicker. He did fantastic. They usually do. Rise and Grind Picker. Okay, this is a controversial one. This might get me canceled more than appearing on the Trash to Cash podcast. I'm not going to give any opinion. I don't have any opinion on this. This is Rise and Grind Picker. I'm pointing to him. Myth. Delist, relist works. That's Rise and Grind Picker. RISE and GRIND PICKER. Rise and Grind Picker. Delist, relist works. That's his myth. What say you in the chat? Does delist, relist work, or is delist, relist a waste of time? If I was ever going to take an item down, I would want to make an improvement, change the title, put better keywords, change the price, make sure my item specifics were good, maybe hopefully learned a better keyword during the time that it's been listed and what it is today. Because we should all be able to go into our old listings. We should all be better resellers today than we were back then. And we should all be able to improve every single one of our listings if we choose to take them down, put them back up, end them, sell similar, end them, relist, revise them, put them back up. If you are going to revise and put them back up, if you are going to end them and put them back up, and you're going to make them better, probably has better results than just taking it off the shelf and then putting it back on the shelf with no changes. But I didn't say it. Rise and Grind Picker, he said it. Myth, ending and sell similar works. So delist, relist works is the Rise and Grind Picker myth. What says the chat? Retorama says, big thanks. After watching numerous hours of videos, I have now a successful eBay and Amazon business. Shout out to Mark, Retorama, very good. Mama Hype, red door, blue door. That is an old one right there. Oh, Ken has a good myth right here. Oh, Ken has a good myth. An eBay representative will call you back. That might get the prize right now. Ken might get the prize for the best myth ever. Look, I have been promised 100 times that an eBay representative will call me back. Never, not one time has an eBay representative called me back. Never. Ken right now, if this was a horse race, he's winning the race. Ken has the best myth so far. Grace and Mercy says, myth, you can get rich from selling one Beanie Baby on eBay. Only if it is the purple Princess Diana Beanie Baby. Then in that case, and only that case, can you get rich from selling a Beanie Baby on eBay. A lot of people saying the delist relist is a myth. Oh my goodness. John Doe says, yes, they have a magic switch. I complained to eBay about negative feedback and 25 items sold in 25 hours, in 24 hours. He's a part-timer. So John Doe is saying he called eBay. He read them their rights, and eBay said, you know what? John's not happy. Let's flip the switch and let's make this guy sell 25 items in the next 24 hours. You heard it from John Doe right there. Myth, refusing one offer gets you no other offers. I build a relationship first. Refusing one offer gets you no other offers. There you go. If someone offered me 50% off value, will you take it? I don't know. If you're 50% over market and someone offers me 50%, then yeah, I would take it. If it's 50% offer on a highly desirable, rare item that I know is going to sell at regular price, then no, I'm not going to accept the offer. If it's 50% off on an item that's highly saturated and no one wants it, and I better drop to my knees and thank my lucky stars because somebody ever sent me a offer, then yeah, I would probably take it. So it all depends. It's case by case basis. We can't paint with a broad brush on any of this. All of this has nuance. But if you're 50% above market on your price, then you better take a 50% off offer. If it's a great item, the ball is more in your field where you're in control. If it's a horrible item, then if someone sends you a low offer, then maybe you take it. William says the only thing that can turn your store on and off is you. Not listing consistently is the biggest reason for the store being off. That's from William. Shout out to William. Samantha says Poshmark doesn't accept offers on their merch and it always sells out. So declining offers does not hurt traffic. That's why the button has been provided. Very good. Oh, here's one. DMNC. This is a good myth. DMNC. If you accept lowball offers, eBay will start sending those to your store more. That is a good one. That is second place right now to Ken. DMNC. If you accept lowball offers, eBay will start sending more of those to your store. Very good. William says he's hitting the like button on all the devices, even his kids. That's a team player right there. Where are we on the likes? We need 850 to beat a record. With all the resellers out there, someone has got to have a family member that works for eBay to tell us the truth. Do you think we can get someone on eBay? We can put them in like one of those witness protection ones. We'll give them a black silhouette. We'll give them a voice changer. Let's get them on and let's get straight to the facts. Get them on straight to the facts. Myth or mystery, eBay throttles your traffic if you have a big sale early in the day. Ken is 2 for 2 right there. Myth or mystery, eBay throttles your traffic if you have a big sale early in the day. Ken is coming with the heat today. I don't know who Ken is, but Ken is 2 for 2. Now, on my Instagram, if you scroll way back, I have posts from when I sell a $400 item, 10 minutes later sell a $1,000 item, an hour later sell a $250 item, an hour after that sell a $600 item. So in my personal opinion, I don't believe, I'm going to say myth busted. Myth busted on eBay throttles your traffic if you have a big sale early in the day. But hey, I'm not the decider of this. What says the chat? If you have a big sale early in the day, does eBay throttle the traffic? I think eBay does have a switch, but if you can always send out huge offers, it'll counter it a little bit. That's from Aiden. We got Jose in the chat. Hey. Free shipping or charge the buyer. Also with medium mail, would you just charge the buyer what you are charged? And would you charge a flat rate slightly higher and add for your packaging? So you have to see what the market will allow. Some categories will allow you to charge shipping. Some categories will not. If you're selling widgets like an iPhone, like an iPod cable, in that category, charging shipping is going to sink your ship. That is a free shipping category. So look around in your category, see what other people are charging, see what other successful sellers are charging, ones that are getting a lot of sales, and then kind of take notes of what the market is. Don't copy, but take notes of what the market is, and then implement something into your business, into your policies, into your rules that is what the market will allow. So you could do free shipping. Free shipping works fantastic. Build it into the price. However, there is a little bit of a downside for free shipping for people in the United States. So for buyer's remorse returns, there's 2 different kinds of returns. There's buyer's remorse and item not as described. So item not as described is item not as described, arrived damaged, missing parts or pieces, broken, not as pictured. For those reasons, we have to issue an original shipping refund of the item, and then issue them a return label. If it is a buyer's remorse return, wrong size, doesn't fit, found a better price, no longer need, change mind. For those ones, we do not have to issue the refund for the original shipping. We have to issue the refund for the item, and if you do free returns, you have to send a return label. But if you do free shipping, no matter what the return reason is, you have to issue a 100% full refund because there is no initial original shipping to withhold. So in my personal opinion, I would not do calculated. I would figure out some sort of flat rate shipping policy that aligns with what the market would allow. Sarah says isopropyl alcohol is a lifesaver for books and toys. That is a secret. That is our first secret of the day. Who's got secrets in there? Last week we did a great call. Shout out to Jean Queen. She had a great topic on what is your secret that you do that you don't think anybody else does. And we had some great secrets in there. Stefan came in early with a great phone app where you can swipe left, it brings up comps. You can swipe right and it brings up something. Great app. There was a bunch of tips in there. So who has a secret? Sarah says isopropyl alcohol is a lifesaver for books and toys. That is a good one right there. Very good. Mystery, who really is Miss Tech? Well, that mystery, we got a long way to go until that one's discovered, because she said once we get 1 million people on the channel, she'll come on. So we got a long way to go. Aiden West says they have a consignment agreement with someone, and while it's not very profitable, yet I do think it's the start of a mutual beneficial arrangement. Very good. Do you use your eBay quarterly discount or your eBay quarterly coupon? If so, what do you buy? I do, and everybody should also use it, because if you do have an eBay store, you do get an eBay quarterly coupon to use for shipping supplies. It just released again on July 1st. If you do not use it, you will lose it. So definitely go and use it. It is underneath the subscriber discount section. I use it on boxes. I get the 8x6x3. I've gotten the poly bags before. That's what I do. Loot Seeker says, myth, costume jewelry does not sell on eBay. It does. I know a lot of people who do very well. Shout out to Desiree. She has the Jewelry Sellers podcast. If you want to hear me talk about jewelry, head over to Desiree's podcast, Jewelry Sellers podcast. I did a podcast with Desiree a couple of months ago, and a lot of people really liked it. So costume jewelry does very well on there. Very good. Myth, the first 24-hour you list something is usually slower registering on eBay and doesn't get many views. What do you guys say on that? Myth, the first 24 hours you list something is usually slower registering on eBay and doesn't get many views. I'm going to say I disagree with that one. I'm going to say the first 24 hours is the most action your item is probably going to get. It's downhill from there. Do you think eBay gives you more traffic when you ship more often? Is it helpful to ship 2 or 3 times a day versus 1? So when the listing quality report was out, one of the metrics that was on there was shipping time and then actual shipping time. They have it broken down 2 ways. The shipping time is what's stated on your listing. 1 day, same day, 2 days, 3 days. There's a hierarchy of shipping. If all things considered are exactly the same, and I have 1 day shipping, you have 3 day shipping, I should, on average, have more preferential search placement than you, because I have 1 day shipping, you have 3 days. Now, if all things considered are the same, you have 1 day, I have same day, I should win that search. Now, the actual shipping time is how quickly the item was actually shipped. So if you have 3 days, but you really ship in 1, it's going to show a 3-day shipping time and a 1-day actual shipping time. So on my listing quality report, I had a -2 actual shipping time, because I used to get pickups every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Even if the post office is closed on Sunday, even if the post office is closed for a holiday, they still used to send a truck. They still used to pick up my stuff. They still used to scan it. And I had a -2 actual shipping time. So I was winning that race by a long shot for a very long time. And if it's on the listing quality report, it is considered. So how fast you ship is on the listing quality report. Jack says, got a Vero for new Levi's listed today. What is causing that, and what do you suggest to revise? So that is a known one. That is a big one. So if you list Levi's brand new internationally, either through the global shipping program or you ship international directly, you will get a policy violation, because Levi's does not want their brand new tags items shipped internationally or exported. You will get a policy violation for that just about every single day of the week. So what you need to do, you either need to list them as pre-owned, you either need to stop selling altogether brand new tags Levi's, or you need to create a business policy where you do not ship those items internationally. That is one of the most common policy violations on eBay. Very good, very good. Major Win said, nice to see you on the Trash to Cash podcast. It was very fun. Those guys were fun. It was a blast to be on with them. Very thankful to be on with them. How many likes do we got in the chat? We need 850 thumbs up to beat a record today. Let's get the record. I think certain platforms sell things quicker. Haven't sold any plush on eBay, but over 50 on Mercari. Absolutely, yeah. There are different customers for different platforms. Absolutely. All right. So Mama Hype, when we were talking about the closest, she's in Tampa. Retail Rescue is in Lake Worth. AR Records is in Pompano Beach. All right, we got some people locally in the house. Very good. Have you ever heard of Homestead, Florida? Absolutely, I have. Is Cassini a myth or still a thing with eBay? So Cassini was the code name for the search algorithm. They are leaning into more AI and different kind of searches now, but Cassini absolutely was a thing. And is there a resource into deep dive into things like timeline of tags, Anvil hangs, Nike? Absolutely, there is. I did release a video probably about 4 weeks ago. It's titled Vintage T-shirt Tutorial. I went over all of the tags that you named. In addition to that, in the group, we do have all the resources for that one. Absolutely. Mama Hype says, would you say if you list it right the first time, you don't have to relist, delist? I'll let the chat answer that one. If you list it right the first time, do you still need to delist, relist? In the chat? Very good, very good, very good. Yeah, Rise and Grind Picker, you trying to get me canceled. Oh, Bet Ryan says they got called back 4 days after a call. They said they would call, and they did. Shout out to Bet. They have broken through the third dimension, and they have received a call back from eBay. So we have to clap it up for eBay. We got to give them the props they deserve. We have official callback. Very good. How long until you let an unsold item sit in your shop before donating and throwing away? So that one is that's a personal preference. A lot of it is going to be on how big your storage space is, what kind of parameters you have set on your desired return, how long you want to let your money out before you get it back. But if it is taking too long, there's a few things that you could do. You can increase promoted listings. You can make your listing better keywords, better price, better item specific, better listing overall. Hopefully try to get a different demographic, a different customer looking at it. You can put it on sale. You can do a markdown promotion. You can run a coupon, a more enticing coupon. You can do your newsletters, buyer groups, send or accept a lower offer. You can run an auction where you'd be happy if you got one bid. You can run an auction at 99 cents. You could take it off of eBay, have a garage sale, flea market. You could sell it to another reseller. Every reseller has a different metric. You can sell it Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Let Go, Offer Up. You can donate it. You can take it behind the barn. Those are what you could do. So Rise and Grind Picker said they just received a call back from eBay. So we have two. We have two people that have received calls back from eBay. So shout out to eBay. Myth, summer slowdown blamed on the buyers. That is from A Down Lawns. Myth, summer slowdown blamed on the buyers. Myth, oh, this is a good one. This is a good one from Pre-Loved Bargains. Myth, if you touch an item that has been in your store for a while, it will sell. I'll be honest with you. When I had all of my racks in the warehouse, every single day when I would turn off the light in the back of the warehouse, I would walk through the warehouse with my arms extended and try to touch as many items as possible on my way out. So myth, if you touch an item that has been in your store for a while, it will sell. That is a good myth right there. Shout out to Pre-Loved Bargains. That's top 3 right there. James said, I get caught up nitpicking my drafts too much. Any advice on speeding up this process? Well, don't nitpick it. If it's good, let it go. Have you ever blocked someone and why? I have. I usually block people who return more than one item because of wrong size. So that means that they just don't do their due diligence and they're just buying stuff and they don't know their size. Other than that, just rude people, people that are rude, people that cuss. I block them too. Myth, you can't make a full-time living reselling. That's from Armani. That is a myth. Reseller Project, Michelle, shout out. Myth, shipping within minutes of a sale gives you better traffic. Culture Vibe, Palm Beach Gardens, shout out to you. Secret or myth, most buyers do not use best offer because they don't know what to offer. What do you guys think? Do you think buyers don't use best offer because they don't know what to offer? Oh, Michelle, Reseller Project with the best myth of the whole day. Ken, you have been dethroned. Another myth, thumbs up aren't important. We got to hit the thumbs up. We need 850 likes today. We've been on for 55 minutes, and we're going to be on until I beat the chat. And you guys are on fire today. Let me jump into the Instagram questions while I'm thinking about it. I don't want to miss those fine folks. On my Instagram, right at the top, I have tech tips for resellers. You can follow me on Instagram, Tech and Sports, tech tips for resellers at the top. And I always ask, what questions do they have? Let's knock those out today. How do you get on the eBay International Shipping Program? It's very easy. You just got to opt in. You just got to push a toggle switch either in site preferences or your business policies. Very, very easy. Why after a sale, item stays as active in inventory with 0 to sell? That means that you're using the out of stock option. And the out of stock option is for people who do replenishables, people who sell out of their stock, their order hasn't come in, and then they replenish it back to 50. If you're selling one-offs, then definitely you don't need to do the out of stock option. You would go into site preferences and turn off the out of stock option. All right, here's a myth. So this person asked this question 9 minutes ago. I was wondering if you ever had listings disappear. That's 9 minutes ago. That chat, what say you? Have you ever had listings just up and disappear? What say the chat? Kevin Payne says, what do all millionaires have in common? I guess they have $1 million, so I guess that's what they have in common. I'm not sure. Chat, what do all millionaires have in common besides having $1 million? Rise and Grind Picker said he just hit the like button on the grandma's phone. Team player right there. Home Business Ventures, myth. The heart button in the chat is the thumbs up button. No, we don't get any credit for hitting the heart button. We have to hit the thumbs up button. I've hit it myself. I'm going to unhit it and hit it again right now. I've just hit it myself. We have to hit the thumbs up button. Myth, when I think when you catch fire on any day seems I get more traffic. Sure, absolutely. Major Win says there is no throttle. Rise and Grind Picker, myth or mystery. Listing items just to list gives you a bump even if it's slow overpriced items. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, so here's James, great reseller life. He's coming in with a myth. This guy's good for some myths and some mysteries, but he's coming in with an easy one. He's easing himself into the myth and the mysteries game. The great reseller life myth. James is only the second best looking reseller on YouTube. Is that a myth? Or is that a myth busted? What says the chat? Shout out to James. If you want some myths and mysteries, that guy's got them all right there. What motivation does a platform that only gets paid when you do have to throttle traffic when you are successful? That's a good question, Samantha. What motivation does a platform that only gets paid when you do have to throttle traffic when you're successful? That is a good one. James, put great reseller life. Drop some real myths and mysteries in the chat. Drop some real ones. Put us on game. Mystery, did we get the idea for this from the Business and Business podcast? I shouted out to those guys earlier. They had on the tinfoil hats. And right now, today, we got on our tinfoil hats. So shout out to Hanley. She sells Car Parts UK on Instagram. Shout out to Samantha, Hammock Hustler on Instagram. I had both of them on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Both of those guys, without a doubt, if I had to bet the farm, both of those guys will be $1 million sellers in the very near future. Great people, great sellers. They're rocking and rolling. They have a fun podcast, one of my favorites. They had on their tinfoil hats. But hey, conspiracies are good for everybody. I like a good conspiracy. How about this? We're going to go off the beaten eBay path for momentarily. Put your non-eBay conspiracy in the chat. I love a good conspiracy. Put your non-eBay conspiracy in the chat. I want them all right now. Non-eBay conspiracy. Are aliens real? Did aliens build the pyramids? Let's go off the eBay path for a little bit. We'll come right back on in 1 second. But give me your biggest conspiracy. All right. Now back to eBay's biggest myths and mysteries after your biggest conspiracy in general. I love a good conspiracy. Myth, promoting your items does nothing but eBay line pockets. So that's Elizabeth with a myth. So promoting your items does nothing but line eBay's pocket. So if you're calling it a myth, then you're saying that it lines the seller's pockets as well. Rise and grind picker, myth, calling eBay for issues gives you the throttle. So do you think if we call eBay and complain, they just press the button on the computer and turn us off? Is that what you're saying, rise and grind picker? My second account says eBay puts you in timeout if you lower your promoted listings. Myth or fact? What do you guys say? Does eBay put you in timeout if you lower your promoted percentage? Or are we just used to paying for all that extra traffic and it gives us those extra sales? And when we lower the percentage, that extra traffic is no longer there because we're no longer paying for it. And then it just hurts a little bit. What says the chat? Does eBay put you in timeout if you lower your promoted percentage? Oh, Armani has a great one. This is a great one. Is it better to wait and list or list and wait? That is a good one. Is it better to wait and list or list and wait? That is a good one. I am on the team of list and wait, not wait to list. Is it better to list and launch all your listings at once or list through the day? I think if you just launch at once, you're good to go. Is there a better process or check marks to hit and keep it moving to make process more efficient in regards of drafts? So when I launch the drafts, I give them one more of a look over, make sure everything is correct, and then I launch. I think for that, it's just going to take as long as it takes. All right, Rise and Grind Picker has a secret, lighter fluid for sticker residue. That is a good one. Another secret, aquarium charcoal in a tea bag in plastic bag removes smells. That's from Mark. Here you go. Aquarium charcoal in a tea bag in a plastic bag removes smells. Elizabeth with a secret. Line your box with egg crates when shipping fine china. Very good. Tone, myth or fact, eBay throttles your business when you do not accept returns. I think that eBay will give you less preferable search results if you do not accept returns, because if you accept returns, you should theoretically be up on top of every single person who does not accept returns. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing eBay sellers in 2024? I think it's the same challenge as it was in 2023 and 2022, 2021. I think a lot of costs are rising since COVID, since stimulus, since money raining from the sky. And a lot of people are probably running their business under the pretense of money raining from the sky, of customers, quarter over quarter outspending in record amounts. And we're not in that world anymore. And I think a lot of people have overextended themselves. A lot of people have not improved. A lot of people have not gotten better. A lot of people have not done more. And I've told you guys before, the most amount of hate I've ever gotten in the comments of a podcast is in 2021, when I said all the prices are going to rise. The thrift store is going to rise. eBay fees is going to rise. Promoted listings are going to rise. Gas, insurance, labor, groceries. You didn't want to hear it back then, but here we are. So I think that the biggest threat, the biggest challenge is always going to be the death by 1,000 cuts into our margins. So we have to get better. We have to do more. Selling tip, find a local person, auction house to sell your unwanted items that don't meet your average cost of goods. I make around $500 a month doing this. That is a good tip. Goo Gone is excellent for removing sticker residue. Very good. I know people would save searches and will buy items within minutes of being listed. I agree. Yep, absolutely. Do schedule listings really not give you as much as a bump as live listings? So that one is just speculation, but when you list a scheduled listing, you don't get that email to your email that says, congratulations, your item has been listed. So the scheduled listing is live on eBay's back end before it's live on the front end to the customer. So perhaps, just speculation, perhaps you got that bump when you scheduled it. You don't get the bump when you release it. Have you ever experienced where 3 different buyers buy an item and they don't pay within a 2-week period? I'm sure I have. Yeah, it's happened a time for two. Very good. How to start an aged inventory management plan? Where would you start? So I would sort my store by oldest items, and I would start aggressively marking it down. The oldest get more aggressive, the newer get less aggressive. So just sort your store either by newest and mark down less aggressive to oldest, or by oldest and mark down most aggressive to less aggressive. Secret Bolo Percy Jackson head covers. That one is from Aiden. Very good. Colette says, a secret ironing board works great for a mobile shipping table. I can see that. Very good. Tina Misdemeanor in the house. That is the best Instagram name on Instagram right now. Tina Misdemeanor. What if you list new with tags Levi's, don't allow international shipping, but freight forwarder buys them? If you ship them domestically, good to go. If you ship them internationally, then no. So if the final customer is international, you're at stake of getting a policy violation. Myth. Same day shipping gets better search placement, even if your shipping cutoff is 3 a.m. Pacific. I think that same day shipping does give you better search placement. My handling time is cut off at 6 a.m. because I ship at 7. So anything paid before 7 is still going to get shipped anyways. And I think that is more beneficial. What did your schedule look like when you were working full time and doing eBay? It was tough. So I was working full time. I would thrift during lunch. I would thrift on the way home. I was doing 30 a day, so it wasn't like crazy. I would hit the flea market Saturday and Sunday. But I would pick up my son, get him second lunch while he's eating second lunch. I would maybe jump on a couple pictures. We would go to baseball practice or go to the baseball field, do whatever we had to do, and then I would take pictures and list once he went to sleep. So I would go to sleep very late, wake up very early, hit some stores, and then hit the flea market. I would hit stores during lunchtime. Very good. Rise and Grind says, listening to this makes me want to list more, so we can't get tech canceled. Yeah, we have to list more. So everyone that listens to this, all the stuff that we're saying, we have to do more. That way you guys don't get me in trouble. There has to be some sort of monetary exchange with eBay. You guys need to list more, sell more. So that way the eBay gods will be happy with our conversation here. Coach Ultimo says they have about 16 messages from eBay removing Levi's from international sale. Last message, they removed 9 listings. Absolutely. That is the easiest one, the most common policy violation. Constance says they are 3 for 3 with eBay callbacks, but we're not about negative feedback or virals. So maybe it depends why they're calling you back. Myth, buyer penalties for unpaid item cases. Ken's on a roll. So one time I had a guy and he bought from me a bunch of times previous. He probably bought from me, I don't know, let's call it 5, 6, 7 times before, 2, 3, 5, 10 at a time for 7 times. One time he says, hey, I'm going to place a large order. I said, okay, go for it. He ended up shooting me offers for 180 items, and then he ghosted me. He didn't even pay for the 180 items. I had 180 unpaid item cases close on this person, and they're still on eBay today. Every now and then, I check eBay just to see if he's still around. He's still around. So I closed 180 unpaid item cases on a guy before, and that guy is still on eBay.com. Now, maybe it counted as one unpaid item strike because it came from one seller. But I closed 180 of them one time. William says they've had items in their store for a year that they touched by accident looking for them and they sold, boom, the next day. You've heard it right there. You have heard it. What, in your opinion, separates great resellers from good resellers? I was talking to this with my good friend Isaiah today, and I think that you could have a lot of knowledge, you could have a lot of consistency, but I think you have to have a good engine too. So like for me, I go 7 days, I go open to close, I'm rock and roll. What you see right now is what you see as soon as I wake up, all the way until I go to sleep. Like I'm rocking and rolling. So like if someone's done with their work and they clock out and they do something else, I think a great reseller, we're talking creme de la creme, top of the top, I think they're still going. So like you can have, one championship, or you can go right back to the gym like Kobe Bryant used to do even after he won the championship, and you can get right back after right after that, because all of his other teammates, they all went to the Bahamas. They all went to Cancun. They took the summer off. Kobe went right back, and he went right back to the gym. So I think that everything that a good reseller has, plus the willpower and enough gas in the engine to do more, get better, be better than what a good reseller is. Gaming Chair says they have or best offer and people still buy now without any offer. Pretty sure they don't want to go back and forth when the price is reasonable. Absolutely. Myth, when you list a similar brand of an item that sat for a long time, it magically sells. There's a good one right there. Fort Lauderdale in the house. Very good. John Doe says he has had listings disappear. Sarah has had listings disappear. Aiden has had listings disappear. William says they've had listings disappear from their own inventory and it wasn't their fault. I've searched for my items on eBay and could not find them. That's happened before. What do you do? Oh, how did you do on a flip phone? Rise and Grind Picker as a flip phone? Myth, it's okay to keep sourcing even if you have a death pile. Whoa. Now, hey, we've been firing shots in all different directions. D. Bush is firing shots at every single one of you in the chat right now. Myth, it's okay to keep sourcing even if you have a death pile. That was D. Bush, D space BUSH. That was not me. D. Bush, it's okay to keep sourcing even if you have a death pile. Grace and Mercy said they've had listings just poof, vanished into the eBay black hole several times as if they were never there. Rise and Grind Picker say he's going to caress the thumbs up button, not smash the thumbs up button. They are going to caress the thumbs up button. Thank you very much. We need 850 to beat the record. The Olympics are coming up on July 27th. Can we get a gold medal on likes before the Olympics? We need 850. There's going to be 3,000 people that come in while we do this podcast. All we need is 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3, hit the like button, and we will beat a record. Loot Seeker, having listings waiting to go helps on days you don't list. You absolutely they can. William has a good one. Myth, fire emojis in your title help the item sell. If you believe the myth, if you believe fire emojis helps the item sell, put a fire emoji in the chat. If you believe it, put a fire emoji in the chat. Vintage Viola says they have had a listing fall off or disappear. Very good. Myth, when you list a similar brand, oh, we had that one already. Myth, video yourself packaging. New gaming chair. Myth, video yourself packaging a high value item to ensure you have extra protection. Oh my goodness. You guys are characters. Myth, the new to be a new male eBay seller, you have to have bearded in the name. That is also a myth. Very good. Oh, here's the outside the eBay myth. Chapstick makes your lips more chapped. What do you guys say about that? Does chapstick make your lips more chapped in order for you to buy more chapstick? That is coming from Mark Passarelli. That is an outside the eBay myth. Does chapstick make your lips more chapped? Miss Tempting Treasures, my phone can hear my thoughts. It absolutely can. Sometimes we talk about a dog and they start showing us dog food on my phone. Loot Seeker, aliens are actually robots. Just saw an article yesterday. Okay. Um, yeah, the phone is listening. Absolutely. Never searched for baby vegan sunscreen, but talked about it. Got showed an ad. There you go. Okay, Tone, real world myth. Crunchy peanut butter is better than creamy peanut butter. I don't mind crunchy peanut butter, to be honest with you, but I think creamy peanut butter is better. What does the chat say? Crunchy peanut butter or regular peanut butter? Zach, Third Eye Finds. Zach, Third Eye Finds. He likes a good conspiracy too. All he put is tap water. That's it. All he put is tap water. List and wait. That's the way to go. Oh, myth. Antarctica is guarded for other reasons outside of preservation. Oh, oh my goodness. Mark says his buddy says that birds are drones. Oh my goodness. Favorite conspiracy. Paul McCartney was replaced by a lookalike, and the Beatles didn't write any of their music. Zach says, myth, eBay throttles traffic when you have an open item not received case and when you have to respond to returns. Also, eBay doesn't increase traffic when someone leaves positive feedback and saves your store. Absolutely. Secret, any cooking oil or suntan lotion will remove adhesive. Very good. Um, my wife with a myth right here. She's coming in strong. And usually, I say, hey, we got to be impartial on all this stuff, but she's going rogue right now. Myth. Don't list jackets in the summer, they won't sell. Oh, she's going rogue right now. I told, hey, we got to be impartial. You can't get me canceled. Myth. Don't list jackets in the summer, they won't sell. Um, and Mama Hype is right there with him. It's always cold somewhere. And Rise and Grind Picker says Australia has winter right now. This is something to think about. This is something crazy to think about. So everyone in North America, in the Northern Hemisphere, when we have Christmas, Santa Claus is in the snow. We got igloos, we got reindeers, we got bells, we got all the snow. Did you know in Australia, Christmas is in the summertime? So does Santa Claus in Australia, does he wear flip-flops, swim trunks, and a towel right here with no shirt on the beach? Someone from Australia, let us know. In Australia, is Santa Claus beached out? Because it's not even cold in Christmas time in Australia. Secret, spray Dawn Power Wash on sticker items. Let it sit a couple of minutes and the stickers will slide right off most of the time. Very good. Conspiracy. Tech will fully clean shave when he hits 33,333 subscribers. Well, let's put that one on the board and see if that one happens. Secret, Dawn dish soap gets stains out. Very good. Secret, if you can't find an item, send a random object instead of taking an out of stock defect. That's from Ken. That is not from this guy. That is a Ken secret. We can brand that one the Ken secret, but that ain't one of my secrets, my friend. Is there a video in the group that explains best way to mark out items that haven't moved from? Absolutely. Go to the Tech Tuesday section, go to most requested calls. It's right there. How long did it take you to get to 30 listings a day? I don't remember, man. That was like 14 years ago. And I never thought in a million years I would be sitting here on YouTube talking about reselling. So like a lot of part of like in my early reselling career is a little bit hazy because I never thought in a million years I'd be talking about eBay on the computer on a Wednesday night at 9 o'clock in the nighttime. I don't know. I want to say like a year and a half, maybe 2 years to get up to 30 listings a day. But I was all in 110% rocking and rolling. Are you doing the 127 sale? I don't know what the 127 sale is, so I can categorically say I am not doing it because I don't even know what it is. I assume it's one of those long 100-mile sales. I don't even know if it's closed. Is it closed by here? Will the real deal? What is better, seller pays return shipping or buyer pays return shipping? In my opinion, free returns, seller paid returns, the better buyer experience. I think it's better for your sales and better for the platform overall. Montezuma, moon landing. Did we really land on the moon? What say you? Is there a way to look up flea markets? Are there flea markets in Chattanooga, like where you go in Florida? There absolutely is. Inside of the group, I do have a call. It is in the month of June where I show how to find flea markets, thrift stores, and garage sales. But what you want to do is you got to search Google Maps and you got to look at the pictures and make sure that the pictures match what a good flea market looks like to you. Because as you guys see, I go 4 hours, 5 hours, all the way up to different states. I go to good flea markets. I don't go to bad flea markets, never miss, because I always look on Google. I always look at the pictures. Someone needs to start a reselling museum with a full display of the tech shop layout. And then for admission, it's one item from your death pile. Myth, if you pick up I believe in this one. Myth, if you pick up loose hangers at the thrift store off the ground, the thrift gods will bless you with good items. Do you guys believe in the thrift gods? Will the thrift gods bless you if you pick up loose hangers off the ground? I subscribe to that one. I subscribe to that one. What do you do? Chat jumps. You guys are keeping me really busy. We're gonna be on here for a good minute, but that's okay. I'm here for the long run. When I beat the chat, it's game over, but I'm here. We're rocking and rolling. We're having fun. We're doing education. We're doing entertainment. We're laughing. We're learning. That's the name of the game. Can we reset the likes record every month? I hope. I want to win the likes. It's been a long time since we had a win. Where are we now with the likes? It's been a long time with the likes. Rise and Grind Picker says he puts an eagle emoji when he has American Eagle jeans and they sold fast. Oh my goodness. Myth, put an EUC in the title is necessary. Is EUC, excellent use condition, in the title necessary? Charlotte Jackson confirms chapstick does make your lips more chapped. Jameson, shout out Jameson. He's crunchy all day with the peanut butter. William says the last video with Arwen had YouTube sending him ads in French. They're listening. They heard Arwen talking French and they hit you with the good news. My man, Sir Pedro, he's crunchy all day. I feel like it's overwhelmingly crunchy. It's crunchy, 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 crunchy. 5 crunchies in a row, but I think that's cap. I think every single one of you cannot go to your kitchen right now and pull out crunchy. I bet you all have creamy. I think that's cap. I think y'all say crunchy, but you don't buy it, you don't eat it. Loot Seeker says people that think creamy is better than crunchy wear socks with sandals. So you guys who think creamy is better than crunchy, do you wear socks with sandals? Oh, Tessa right here. She has a hot take. Tessa, you do not look like the demographic of what I'm about to say. Prime drinks are actually delicious. That's from Tessa Robles with the hot take. And I'm going to give you guys a hot take right now. The red, white, and blue popsicle one is actually delicious. I'm going to put it on the map right now. Tessa Robles, the red, white, and blue, like the bomb pop one, is actually delicious. It actually tastes like an actual bomb pop. Jameson, myth, reselling is dead. Myth, putting stickers cards will help you get positive eBay feedback. Myth, if you send a bunch of items in the morning, then you don't have to list anything for the rest of the day. No, sir. You guys are killing me. All right, so Nick Foles says in Australia, Santa rides a kangaroo. So Killer Saw says they lived in Australia and Santa dresses like a normal Santa, even though it's hot. Unbelievable. What is the most bizarre thing you saw being sold in a bizarre section of eBay? I can't say about eBay, but the most bizarre the most bizarre thing I've ever seen sold at the flea market was a casket. I saw a casket being sold at the flea market, and it was there for 2 weeks, and it was not there anymore. And I asked the guy, it's my friend Ken. I said, Ken, did you sell the casket? He says, you know I did. He sold a casket at the flea market. Um, have you ever sold Ghost in a Jar? I have not sold Ghost in a Jar, but I have sold Alien in a Jar. I sold Alien in a Jar for $250 when I first started on eBay. If you look at Alien in a Jar on eBay, they have one about this big. It has neon green water in it. I sold Alien in a Jar for 250 bucks. I got it for $5 at the flea market. Um, I have sold Alien in a Jar. Absolutely have. Myth, being lone wolf reseller is the fastest way to success. That's from Ammo Cat. What do you guys believe? Mary Salazar, you're going to offend a lot of people with this one. I don't know if I should say it, but I'm going to say it. I'm going for it. Myth, the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. What is America's team? If it's not the Dallas Cowboys, what is America's team? You guys are on the road to getting me canceled today. Myth, Dallas Cowboys are not America's team. Shots fired. Um, where are we? I lost the chat. I'm in big trouble. All right, I'm almost there. Very good. I'm back. Myth, breakfast is the most important meal of the day from Aiden. Aiden, I'm happy to report I have not ate breakfast in probably the last 35 years. Since I was a wee lad was the last time I had breakfast. In fact, my mom used to send us to school with breakfast money. I used to keep the money. And when I was in high school, I had like a big wad of money in my room. And my mom was questioning me where it came from. And I said, that's all the money I've been saving because you've been sending me with $1 or $2 a day to get school breakfast, and I never get it. Oh, Bet Ryan, good one. Myth. Free returns will cause a lot more returns. Free returns will cause a lot more returns. Lori V, we never landed on the moon! Exclamation point. Cap says they found the first row back today. Shout out to them. Gwen says they're not yet approved for international selling under the new program. How do I manually set up my prompts to be able to sell internationally? You have to go to your business policies and set it up through there. Thrift gods are real. They do bless you if they clean the home. Juanita says the thrift gods are real. Very good. Myth from Tessa. This is the same one who said that Prime was good. So we have to take everything she says with a grain of salt. She said, I'm going to have my body frozen like Walt Disney so future resellers can study a reselling brain for science. No, that is not going to happen. Because however many times I said I'm going out getting hit by a bus, there might not be anything to freeze after that. Jeannie says they're starting to hear many YouTubers mention me, changing the game for so many with your wisdom. I appreciate that. I hope that you find these helpful. Going a little bit off the beaten path today, having a little bit of fun on Hump Day, talking about some conspiracies, some myths, mysteries, and secrets. But we're answering a lot of questions, educating a lot of people, and that's the name of the game right there. 451 likes. Okay, we're halfway there to 850. We're almost halfway to beating the record. But once I beat the chat, it's game over. What is the easiest way to research what brands sell better? Is it just common sense like Nike, for example? Absolutely not. What you want to do is you want to start broad. So let's say we're going to start with sweaters, and then we're going to search that. And then we're going to see what brands sell that meet your metric. So let's say your metric is any brand that sells for $30 or more. Once you see a pattern of brands that sell for $30 or more, open up a new tab and say, you know what? This brand has showed up 2 or 3 times. It sells for more than $30. Let me deep dive this individual brand. And you have to start wide, identify good brands, and then deep dive those brands. So start wide and then come in narrow. Aiden says he's Crocs and socks all day. William too, socks and Crocs too. I've never worn Crocs before. You guys wearing Crocs? Are Crocs really game changers? I've never put my foot in a pair of Crocs. I am on protest. I don't want to put on Crocs and they change my life and then I'm a Crocs guy. Are Crocs really all, do they live up to the hype? Mariana says, if I list one item every day, but from different categories, does that count as consistency? Sure. As long as you're getting some listings up, that is a form of consistency to take it to the next level. You want to try to be as consistent in your categories as often as possible. Congratulations on listing one every single day. That is a huge accomplishment. Shout out to you. What's with eBay adding a minimum amount you'll take as an offer and best offer? Example, on a listing, I price $14.99. Any offer under $7 will be rejected. They are adding this automatically. You're going to have to go in your offer settings and you're going to have to disable that. I don't have that on mine. Very good. So Loot Seeker, he wears socks and sandals. So Nick Foles says they wanted to like Prime but couldn't get behind it. Still Team Powerade. Is Power all right? Powerade, Gatorade, Prime. How do you rank them? I'm going Gatorade, Powerade, Prime. Do you guys remember when Gatorade used to be in a glass bottle? I used to like lemon lime in the glass bottle. That stuff hit right there. So Tessa says Cherry Freeze Prime is the one that she tried today, and it's so good. Myth, you could list just as fast on a phone as the computer. Ken, coming in strong still. Myth, you can list just as fast on a phone as a computer. What do you do when people are asking what's the lowest through the messages tab? Although you accept offers on the listing, I tell them send offer on the listing, that I can't sell items through messages. So send an offer on the listing. All right, so Bygone Thrifter said, check your messages for the Crunchy. Did she send me a picture of Crunchy? If she did, respect. Respect if she did. Shout out to them. Shout out. By Sarah, she's got the Crunchy. Shout out. Um, you guys are the chat jumped. I'm in bad shape, guys. You guys are winning today. I am 38 week in a row world champion, beat the chat, but I am losing to the chat today. You guys are conspiracy theory. History is myth, and myth is a real history. Dinosaurs weren't real, but giants and dragons actually existed. So that is from the last moral fiber. In Australia, our Santa is the same as yours. It's hard to find summer Christmas decorations. Very good. Pamela says she recently saw an autopsy table for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Oh my goodness. Tempting Treasure says they have crunchy almond butter. Does that count? I don't think that counts. I don't think the crunchy peanut butter folks are going to allow you in. Why are promotional events only 45 days? Why can't they be longer? That's a good question. Why are they 45 days? I don't know. Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, America's team, Broncos, America's team. Teresa doesn't like breakfast either. So right now, Teresa, we are Team Prime for the bomb pop flavor, and we're no breakfast. I'm with you right there. Nick says he doesn't eat breakfast, but loves breakfast for dinner. The salesman says, after your podcast with the guy from Australia, how competitive is the media category? Is it hard? Is it as hard as what it's made out to be? So that was Tom. Tom has 132,000 listings. Media category is tough, man. I'm not going to lie to you. The media category is tough. It's usually going to require very large stores, slower sell through, a lot of volume because the margins are smaller. Jamie Uncensored, $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Not necessary. He said, never heard me laugh before. We're in here just having a little bit of fun, a little bit of laughter, a little bit of education. We're rocking and rolling, trying to just mix it up on hump day. Highway 127 sale is a roadside sale from Chattanooga up to Michigan. I ain't making that one, my friend. I'm in Florida. So Joey Kirby said they tried to sell a pork chop that looked like a rooster on eBay almost 20 years ago. It didn't sell. This was right when someone sold a piece of toast with the Jesus silhouette. I remember that one. I also remember the Jesus Cheeto. That one was big too. Do you watch button-down shirts with the buttons buttoned or unbuttoned? Good question. That is a good question for the chat. Button-up shirts, button-down shirts. Do you wash them buttoned or unbuttoned? What say you? Rachel B, who runs our Poshmark call, great Poshmark call, who is also a podcast trader. She went on Johnny B's and the Used Book Guys podcast before she even came on my podcast. I didn't even know she was willing and available for podcasts. I turn on my YouTube machine and I see Rachel B on the podcast. Rachel B is a podcast trader, but she is an excellent Poshmark call host. So I have no choice but to forgive her and give her a pass on this one. And hopefully, maybe one day we have Rachel B on the podcast here. But she says, say no to Crocs. Happiness is finding an item that's sold on eBay that's not in the place you thought it was. We've all been there. We've all sold an item, can't find it, and then find it in a place where we didn't think it was supposed to be. Susan Phelps with a secret. This is not a myth. This is not a mystery. This is a secret. She says if you give a thumbs up on a video, you will get major sales in the next 24 hours. It works for her. Hit the thumbs up. That is a secret. You will get more sales. What is your system for sending offers? How long do you wait for the item to list to first send? Does eBay hold it against you if you do not send offers? I don't think they hold it against you, but I only send offers only when I want to sell items. I do not send offers if I do not want to sell items. So for me, I want to sell items every single day, all day. So I am open to sending offers every single day, all day. Nick Foles says Gatorade in a can hits different. I have not had that one. I'm going to have to try that. Next time I see Gatorade in a can, if I'm at 7-Eleven, wherever they got it, I'm going to jump into Gatorade in a can. In the movie Idiocracy, everyone wore Crocs. I've only seen like 3 movies. I've seen Forrest Gump, Toy Story, Sandlot. I've also seen Lion King, so 4. Forrest Gump, Toy Story, Sandlot, Lion King. That's it. Constance says they remember Gatorade in a can. I'm gonna have to try Gatorade in a can. Oh yeah, Gatorade in the glass bottle. You still hear it go, oh, that's the best. That is the best, the best, the best. All right, so Tessa says back to the prime. She feels that she is an authority because she's very addicted to soda, specifically Coca-Cola, even more specifically Cherry Coke. That's my favorite right there. And they've had Gatorade, Powerade, and none of them even came close to prime. I like Cherry Coke. I like Cherry Pepsi better. But I have not had any of that in probably 2 years. I have not had a can of soda, bottle of soda in like 2 years. I quit it cold turkey. I do get some Slurpees from time to time, which may be a little bit of a cheat, but I have not popped a can or opened up a can of soda. Now, let me ask you this. Is it called soda? Is it called pop? Is it called fizz? Is it called Coke? Because in Atlanta, every soda is a Coke. Give me a Coke, an orange Coke, and it's orange soda. So is it soda, pop, or Coke? Down in Florida, it's soda. Where are we? Myth, Chuck Norris is the scariest person in battle. We actually saw Chuck Norris when I hung out with my friend Phil from the chat. He sells toys. He came to the flea market in Orlando. Someone gave us a tip that they have a toy convention, comic collection in downtown Orlando at the convention center. We went there, and Chuck Norris was there. Tempting Treasure says, news for you. Breakfast is just the first meal you eat in the day. Breakfast. So if you eat at 12 o'clock, it's still breakfast, technically speaking. Tempting Treasure, she got us. So people are saying they watch button, button, unbutton, button, button. So Juanita says button. I'm rolling with Juanita. I do buttons as well. Oh, myth. Listing an item with charity donation gets you more views. That is a good one. All right, guys, we are almost beating the chat. You guys are on the ropes right now. You guys are on the ropes. Nurse with a Purse, Andrea says, Rachel B is the best Poshmark call host. She learned so much. I agree too, because When we do this the show and tell, or when I watch the Poshmark call, I only watch the Poshmark call to learn women's brands, and every single time I watch the call, I learn new women's brands. Every single time. Um, where are we? Oh, killing me, Smalls. That's right. Oh, Wawa or 7-Eleven. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm 7-Eleven because Wawa is not dependable to have their icy machine up and operating at enough of a percent time where I will pass by Wawa and go farther away to go into a 7-Eleven because 7-Eleven, odds are, will have the Slurpee machine up and rolling. So a lot of people saying pop, soft drink, pop. We don't call we don't do pop down here. We don't do it. Where are we? In the Philippines, they call it soft drinks. Hindi ko alam. I recently discovered that Sandlot was filmed less than 4 hours where I live. Went to visit one day, but the neighborhood is kind of pretentious. That would be cool to go there. Guys, I am beating. I'm almost done. Like we have like four more, and then you guys are done. Tell us a fact most don't know about you. I'm not really sure. You guys don't hardly know anything about me. The only thing you know about me is what you see on Zoom. So anything outside of Zoom would be unknown. After you launder clothes that are going to sell, do you iron steam the wrinkles out, or do you just photo and store straight out of the dryer? So when I get them out of the dryer, I lay them flat in a stack, flat in a stack, flat in a stack. Acts as a press. It's heavy, and every single item you pull out of the stack will have no stains. I have never owned an iron. I do not own a steamer. I have never ironed or steamed any item for eBay, but my items go on there wrinkle free. Secret slash fact. They sell some Crocs for thousands. They did a collab with Balenciaga. They absolutely do. They have Post Malone ones that sells for good money. Absolutely. Myth, you can use flat rate padded envelopes for packing. No, no, you cannot. No, no, no. That is from Cap. CKAPP 180. KAPP 180. Myth, you can use flat rate padded envelopes for packing. That is Cap. That is not me. CKAPP 180. That is Cap. That's not me. Conspiracy, McDonald's McFlurry machine isn't down. They just don't want to make it. There is a website where you can Google, is the ice cream machine working at McDonald's? And people check in if it's working or not working. Sometimes I go on that website. Myth or fact? Again, this is not me. This is new gaming chair right here on the screen. Myth or fact? Women return eBay items more than men. That is the gaming chair. That is not this guy. The gaming chair. Women return eBay items more than men. What says the chat? I have no opinion. Conspiracy, the earth is flat. When I was on the, when I went to New York City and I went to, what was that building I went on? Do you guys know? I made a video about it. My wife knows it. Oh, the One Vanderbilt. When I went on top of One Vanderbilt, to like the 100th floor, you can actually see the curvature of the earth. So that one is busted. Secret, put pony as a keyword for any Ralph Lauren that has a pony, not just the big ones. I mean, you're not wrong. If you put small pony, if you just put pony, I mean, hey, got to do what you got to do. Secret, you're never too old or too young to start reselling. I agree with that one, Sarah. Thank you. Conspiracy, the eBay CEO has an eBay store and puts his listings at the top of search. Efren, for sports hats, do you use the same title structure as clothes, whereas city, sports team? So yeah, for any sort of sports items in the sports category, the team acts as the brand. Guys, we have beat the chat. I am all the way on the Loot Seeker, having smiley faces. Aiden West, have you sold Obey clothes? I have, but Obey's kind of out of style. It's kind of like Diamond Supply. It's kind of like Huff. Those ones are pretty out of style. Thrasher. But I have sold it before. Some cool ones still do sell. Every now and then I throw an item or two of one of those brands in the brick and mortar store. They do sell, but on eBay, not as much. So We have beat the chat 39 weeks in a row, world champion, this guy. You guys did put up a huge fight. I do appreciate everybody for coming in. We need 2 more likes to get to 500. At least drop me 2 more likes. Elite drops us 2 more likes. We have 2 people in here that has not hit the like button. Drop us 2 more likes. Let's get 500. That is a very worthy attempt. Hey, I appreciate everybody for stopping in with us today. If I missed your question, which I did not miss anybody, post it in the comments below. Light up the chat, put some emojis, put something. If you had fun, you had a good time, you learned something. We had a good time all together on Hump Day. If you missed the live, post below. If you want to weigh in on any conspiracy, any myth, any secret, post it below, and I will answer it all. I answer every single question. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us. As always, be great. Thank you.